What is the law of attraction and how does it put in context of the woman's school? It's a question that was posed here. So I just want to create a clarification and distinction. Now, I will tell you, I am not a student of the law of attraction, so I cannot speak to it in its layers. From what my understanding is, the law of attraction is that you attract the thoughts that you think about, and you manifest what it is that you want through your thoughts. Now, that's a pretty elementary understanding of the law of attraction. And I know that it is controversial. It's got many layers. And, I have read parts of it, but I am not schooled in it. So that's my preliminary awareness of the law of attraction, that whatever you think about, it will become manifested. Now, let me just outline what we believe in the woman's school. Okay. So our thoughts, okay, what we think about, we have this part in our brain called a reticular activator. Okay. That really part of our brain that what we focus on expands. If I am pregnant, I'll all of a sudden start to see all the pregnant women. If I'm looking for a white Honda Accord, I start to see all the white Honda Accord. If whatever it is that I'm choosing to focus on, I see more of it, because that part of our brain actually allows us to see more of it. So in context of the law of attraction, that's why I think, just to clarify, and because I am not schooled and skilled in the law of attraction, but what we teach in the woman's school is that if you're focusing on negative thoughts, that is what you're going to see more of, evidence of it. If you're focusing on, things that are what you're grateful for, and the things that you love about your day, and how beautiful life is, and how amazing the weather is, and how wonderful people are, then you are going to see more of it, because what you focus on expands. Now, how does that, people kind of get confused. Why is that part of law of attraction? Well, if you're focusing on all the good things that are true, good, and beautiful, and it has to be alignment with what is good, what is true, and what is beautiful. Okay. Then you start to see all the things that are good. And so you literally attract what you think about. You become what you think about. And our thoughts matter, right? That's why we talk about renewal of our mind. So when it comes to the women's school, we teach mindset and skill set. So let's just say I'm thinking of wanting to have a family that's peaceful, and I'm thinking and I'm imagining what it's like to wake up in the morning peaceful, to have children that are calm, and our home is harmonious. But if I'm just thinking about it and I am not actually working towards becoming a peaceful woman, disciplining my tongue, disciplining my mind, so I only put good stuff, creating healthy boundaries, not looking at the news or Facebook or whatever social media that's going to permeate negative thoughts, then it doesn't matter if I'm thinking and imagining, because then it's just thoughts without action, without the actual skill set, which is why we teach both mindset and skill set. So how does this all play into the law of attraction? I believe the law of attraction says, you attract the good that you want. Well, in the women's school, if we are teaching women to focus on kindness and generosity and looking at the good in people instead of comparing, competing, and being critical of women, what you attract are good friends, right? And so it's not law of attraction, because that is not the basis of what we teach. However, it is focusing on what is good and seeing and seeking what is good to promote more of it, based on a scientific part of our brain called the reticular activator. So I think that's why a lot of people say, oh, is that law of attraction? But we do not stop there. If you don't actually discipline who you are with the mindset and the skill set necessary, then it's just thoughts. And eventually those good thoughts, whatever those, I am kind and I am generous, but you're actually not, managing your words to use kind words, then it's kind of just a fluff thought process. So that's, I think, maybe a lot of people saying, is this law of attraction? You're attracting the good. Well, you attract the things that you think about, right? Is that the law of attraction? I guess some people might say, yeah, that's law of attraction. Well, maybe there's parts of it, but I don't know, the layers and what law of attraction teaches. But what I do know is that when we are focused on the good, we see more evidence of what is good in our environment, in the people that we love, in our workspace, in our children, in our, churches, in our friendship. And because we see more of the good, we create a culture that is based on goodness and truth and beauty. And so then, you know, if I'm looking for the good in my friends will see that and I will attract that good friend. If I'm looking for all the ways I'm critical of another friend or judgment, then chances are, you know, I will attract friends that are critical and judgmental, right? So that's where I think, you know, we create that important distinction. And so I am not schooled in law of attraction. I don't know the layers of what it teaches. What I just teach in the woman's school is that our mindset matters in shaping our perception of seeing and seeking the good in both people and the world and the good within us. And that is what we teach. But compounding that is that we have to work on our mindset, but then develop the skills necessary to actually become a good, you know, woman, right? That we work on the disciplining of our words, of our thoughts, of our boundaries, of recalibrating, of being calm and being peaceful and being generous. And so on the other side of a beautiful life is a woman hard at work on who she ought to become to serve the world. It is an act of generosity to see and seek the good in other people. And so that's what we teach in the women's school. And just so that the distinction is clear, and, you know, I do not want to create judgment on people that believe, you know, attraction or all these different beliefs simply because I do not know their heart. And in the women's school, I preach and teach through and through that we do not judge, that we are here and we are called to love every individual person, not create a prejudice and judgment, because our role is to impact one woman at a time. And it requires us to not jump into sweeping judgments of where people are and what their story. It requires us to love with the eyes of compassion and mercy and kindness in spite of different beliefs. And I think that is so important for us in the women's school, because we live in a world that is so divisive because of our judgments, assumptions, and false assumption, I might add, because we live in a world that's, you know, Facebook and whatever, Instagram and social media. And so we see something and we jump into conclusions about what is and what isn't without ever encountering the human person. And I think that's a robbery. So what we teach in the women's school is that every person matters, regardless of their belief. We are called to love them for who they are, and that it is in love that we actually are able to bring forth truth, beauty, and goodness. And that is an important part of our mission, and that there is enough division, judgment, disharmony, criticism, and all these different blanket statements of that's, you know, what this group does and that's what this group does, and I don't want to be part of it, I don't want to be part of it. And I think it's important for us to understand that we are called to love every person. We don't have to be friends with every person, but we are to call to think well and to hope, you know, the good in every person. I mean, that's what love is, to will the good of the other. And so even so even when we have different beliefs, we ought to will the good of another. And so I think that, you know, we ought to do our homework in the things that we take part of. And that's why I'm doing this video, for women who want to see the difference, but also to be very clear about our mission in the women's school, to be a light in the world and not be afraid to journey and to go to difficult, hard conversations with people with different opinions and different beliefs, and love people where they're at, because we are not the judge, but we are called to love people where they're at. And so that's also important to me. So just to clarify, I think that this is an important thing, you know, with the law of attraction, and where we stand with that is that if I am constantly seeing and seeking the good in every human person and willing the good for them, then I will inevitably attract beautiful and kind and wonderful people around me. And it's because that is what I will attract. But if I am constantly critical of other people and judgmental and afraid to engage in people with different beliefs and put up walls and fears, and I'm anxious, we also then create that kind of culture around us where permeates a lot of division. And that is what we attract, is that also that kind of culture. So that's important for us in the women's school. So it is attracting um, attracting a level of virtue and depth in a woman that allows us to become a light of the world. And that's what we try to do, is that the women's school is really about the internal formation of the woman that then oozes out to our, you know, our capacity to love everyone else around us with a pureness of heart, and with a tenderness and a firmness, and um, really with a mission to transform the world one woman's worth at a time, because every woman is valuable. But it requires us to see our own value, to have the eyes to see the other's value. And that's why we work on ourselves first. We can't promote world peace if we're not peaceful. We can't tell our children to be kind and calm if we're not kind. We can't tell our children to be not judgmental if we're critical of other people. And that's what we focus on, is the good, the true, and the beautiful that can change the world. Thank you.